Let's go, Gator Nation. 5-star commit, Kamari Wilson, committed to the Florida Gators over the Georgia Bulldogs yesterday. Huge recruiting win for Billy Napier, Corey Raymond, and the rest of the staff. I mean, this is a massive get after only talking with this kid for a week or a little over a week. It's an insane recruiting victory. And I think there's going to be a lot more of that to come, but we won't talk about that right now. What we are going to talk about is this commitment of Kamari Wilson to the Gators, and we will check out his highlight tape. And let me tell you, he's a really good player. And let's dive into it now. And after we dive into the highlight tape, we'll do the same thing we did in the Devin Moore video, if you guys checked it out, where we will check him out on the big board and how he stacks up with our roster. So let's get into it. GOAT status, and I don't think he's lying. Number 24, big boy safety. And you'll see it all right here in this highlight tape. Here he's going to read the quarterback, return it for a pick, shows off some athleticism for being a 200-pounder at safety. So got good size, good athleticism, and he's definitely a thumper. You'll see some of that here as he hawks down the quarterback, and dude never stood a chance, and he lit him up. All right, now we're going to see him act like he's going to fill the run. Quarterback gets faked out, drops back, gets the pick, and returns it about 20 yards before he gets tackled. So not only is he a thumper, he is also pretty dang good in coverage. There's a reason he's a 5-star. Here he comes filling the run, and he don't miss a lot of tackles. So that's a good sound form tackle down to the legs. No risk of targeting. Here he makes an insanely great catch. Diving catch, that's extremely impressive. Again, showing off his versatility at the safety position. Now he's just about to come wreck this kid's life on the kickoff return. Kid never stood a chance. Now he's going to show off some more coverage. I mean, great closing speed there. There was no way that quarterback was completing that pass unless he and the receiver magically threw it back shoulder and understood what they wanted to do there. Another hard hit. I mean, that's a small kid, but I mean, he's hitting dudes that are just as big as him in this highlight tape, I believe. Like this guy right here. Boom. He is a thumper, and he reminds me a lot of Matt Elam, if you guys remember him. There he goes again, filling the box. But him and Matt Elam have a lot of comparables to me. They're built pretty similar. Same, they're both 5-stars in high school. I think they actually have pretty similar ratings, which is pretty impressive. I'm sure all you Florida fans remember Elam in college, and unfortunately he didn't work out in the NFL. But he was great for UF and Will Muschamp. And we'll watch a couple more highlights. Don't want to take up too much time. Want to get into what all the commitment means for the roster and the future makeup. But I mean, he's not afraid to come in and fill the box, basically. I think he's the perfect complement to Devin Moore, who just committed earlier in the day. And we'll watch one more highlight here. See what he does. Come in, fill the gap. And the running back don't go nowhere. So, overall, I mean, super athletic. But more importantly, not afraid to hit. And he is built pretty well. You can see up here, after I close this off. Go back to the board over here. Okay. We can see up here in the top corner, I guess across the entire top of the screen, we have his 247 page with the rating. We have his On3 page with the rating and his ESPN page. And on 247, he is a consensus 5-star, although they have him rated as a 4-star. But as you can see across the entire rest of the media, not including Rivals on here, I believe Rivals has him as a 5-star and ESPN has him as a 5-star. He comes in as the composite 5-star, number 28 nationally. So he's 6 foot, 200 pounds, According to ESPN and On3, he's actually closer to 205 pounds. Who knows what he actually is? But either way, that's a thick kid that's not scared to come in and lay some wood. And also, as you saw in the highlight tape, he is really good in coverage. So, massive get, again, for Billy Napier and Corey Raymond and Patrick Toney to build around that defense in the future. Again, reminds me a lot of Matt Elam. And Matt Elam was probably one of the best safeties in recent memory at Florida. Especially stopping the run, coming in and slowing down the run game, getting in the box, which Wilson's without a doubt going to do at this level. And now we can kind of dive into his projection on the roster, how the roster's looking at safety. And I know all this isn't going to make sense. But basically, if you look over here where we have these position scores, this is the position score of the current roster. Green is good. Orange, red is bad. Yellow is average. And this is the current projected score. I have not taken out anyone in the transfer portal yet other than Chris Vogel, who went to Michigan State. I need to catch up on everybody else. So some of these scores will change. But as you can see, with Wilson now in the fold, safety is now by far our projected best position, as it's dark green, which is obviously a good thing, as you want to have good safeties. Him and Devin Moore coming in yesterday definitely gave that an upgrade. But honestly, we are, like I said in the Devin Moore video, we already had some good safeties on the roster, and we'll look into them in a second as well. But basically, again, safety is now Florida's, according to 247 composite scores, Florida's best position on the roster coming into 2022. Okay, now we'll slide over here, and we will check out those safeties. Do a little filtering. Currently on the roster, again, we only have Trey Dean leaving. He's a senior. Outside of anybody transferring, which I haven't heard anything, we have Rashad Torrance was a starter, so he should without a doubt get a spot. And honestly, that is probably who Kamari Wilson is going to back up starting off. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I see them playing similar positions. Obviously, they're similarly built. As far as the rest of the roster, again, we have Donovan McMillan, who I like a lot. He's a thumper as well, but he's also really good in coverage. Corey Collier is a really good free safety prospect. Mordecai McDaniel, he's in his make-or-break year coming up, and he's extremely athletic, so we'll see how he does. And then you got guys like Trevez Johnson, Dakota Mitchell, Kamar Wilcoxon, who I think Kamari Wilson should not have a difficult time beating out once he arrives on campus. Maybe his freshman season, he might not be above them on the depth chart, but I can guarantee you this dude is going to be on special teams, and he's going to be busting heads quickly. And probably starting by a sophomore season. That's how good I think he is. Now we can go look at my big board, which, if you remember, again on the Devin Moore video, is a ranking of either Florida commitments or Florida targets, as you see this big board rating highlighted right here. The higher the better, the higher the score, the more important you are to the roster coming up in this class. And as you can see right here, Kamari Wilson, even though he's a 5-star, he is the second highest rated commitment currently. And that is because the guy committed later on in the day, who I will go over next, and Shamar James, is at a bigger position of need. So Shamar James actually comes in at the number 1 spot, and we'll go over that in the next video that I make. I mean, he's a great linebacker, but won't touch too much on him. But we do have Kamari Wilson here, second overall in the class. Obviously, he's a 5-star, so he's got to be ranked pretty high, especially with a small class. As you can see, his talent rating, 10 for a 5-star. Interest level, 10 means they're committed, which is why they're all 10s. Position of need, again, that's what I talked about. It's only a 2 because that is by far Florida's most talented position, at least on the roster. Proximity to home, from Fort Pierce, Florida, not far away from Gainesville, so he got a 9. And his impact rating, again, he gets a high score for me. This is more of a kind of me coming in there and manually doing it, factoring in some of these other things, but also factoring in how kind of a feel that I get for him and their potential future at Florida. I gave him a 9 out of 10. I think he's definitely a special teams guy his freshman season at minimum. Possibly getting on the field at some point in a rotation if Tony winds up doing that with his defensive backs. But I do think this is a massive recruiting win and probably one of the most impressive pulls ever from a Florida head coach or a coaching staff in general. So shout out Billy Napier, Corey Raymond, Patrick Toney on getting Kamari Wilson. I believe Jamar Chaney played a big part in that. Don't want to leave him off. But this is a massive recruiting victory for a 5-star. Keep him in state. Keep him away from the Georgia Bulldogs. And massive. Just massive overall. And it's always good to get a 5-star. And hopefully there'll be more down the line here in the coming months. But if you like this video, like and subscribe for me. Again, I'm brand new. I've never really done anything like this. So my videos kind of look cheap perhaps, but that's okay. I'll figure it out with the more interest, hopefully, that gets behind it all. But again, big commitment, 5-star Kamari Wilson to the Florida Gators. Go Gators.